Well, hey everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, the show with two real-life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
Lucas Hill.
It's the Buddies on Buddies show. Hey, welcome back
Woohoo!
everybody. Good to see you.
How you doing, Kenny?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. I've been having some fun weekends, went camping again. And then this last weekend, we went to PNPW Wrestling in Astoria.
Fun.
Yeah.
Who won?
The American. Thank God. I even got a sweet video of the British guy who is apparently not from England. Well, I'm glad you're sitting down. He's actually from McMinnville, Oregon. Yeah, he did a top rope jump and landed right in his goddamn head. And right when I was chanting USA, USA, and then I went, yeah, but it sounds like I think he hurt himself. So I hope you're doing okay, British Bruiser.
Well, you don't get a name like British Bruiser without bruising a few vertebrae, huh?
No, you don't. No, you don't. It was a fun show for, like the lower level wrestling stuff. They put on a good show there in Astoria. Megan really enjoyed it, I think, and she didn't know what to expect. She thought we were actually going to actual wrestling. I was like, no, this is not like high school.
She thought it'd be like in a gym and everything. And you just
yeah.
love wrestling, Kenny. You go to all the wrestling matches.
Like, no, not quite this. In fact, I told her that when we go in, there's going to be a lot of children and there's going to be some Down syndrome people and us. And that's pretty much exactly what it was.
As long as you had fun. Well, good for a British bomber for putting himself out there.
Bruiser, I forget his name, but yeah, he was put on. They put on a great show. I don't think they make a lot of. They're not doing it for the money. I mean, it's like a small crowd and stuff. So yeah, but it's good entertainment for the community.
Well, fun.
Yeah,
it's great.
How about you? What have you been up to?
There it is. I was going to have to wait forever for that.
I get so caught up in my own life that I just I can't be bothered by what happened to you.
I'm fine. Mary's out of town, so I've just been living the bachelor lifestyle.
Nice.
Yeah.
What does that entail?
It entails I eat better for some reason. I drink more responsibly, and I go to bed earlier. I don't know what that says about Mary, but.
Are you just saying this because you're on camera and Mary's watching? I've been in bed at 6 p.m. every night reading a book, a novel. Yeah.
Not that quite extreme, but you expect like, oh, I'm gonna fucking go fucking crazy. Sip my tea. Ooh, time to go to bed.
Well, the eating better thing, Mary, for being a very, not, very, in shape, not heavy at all, woman. Like I know she would always be like cooking meals and eating like 6 times a day and stuff. It was always, she had one of those like metabolisms, I guess, that she could just do that. Does she still like eat like that?
Oh yeah, I tell her she eats like a growing 16-year-old football player. She has more meals than a hobbit and stuff, and I just don't have that metabolism. So
yeah,
but she is an excellent cook, and she eats healthy too. So it's not like she's eating fried food and all that. But I think it's when you're with a couple or when you're in a relationship.
Yeah,
you guys like to be bad together,
Yeah.
Like, hey, what say we just get a pizza tonight? Okay, where you want to be that devilish by yourself,
I'm definitely the worst influence on Megan. I'm like, she's always like pushing salads on me and shit. And I'm like, what about double quarter pounder? Isn't that better than a little salad?
Mary Walsh, I'm like, we're not eating meat. I don't want to eat. Okay, we can eat meat, just no bacon. Okay, I don't want to eat bacon, no pig, and no red meat. We can eat chicken and fish. Okay, then 2 days later she comes back with like bacon and like hamburger. Like, we just talked about this. Like it was on sale. Like I don't care with the price. I don't want to eat this right now. Well, you don't have to eat it. Yeah, right. Like
well, go to Whole Foods and walk out with 9 things for $110,
Yeah, it sucks. She has the car, so the only store in walking distance is a Whole Foods. Like, I'm just gonna go in and get a tomato and some greens, and I spend $70. I'm like, great.
Yeah. You should dumpster dive. They throw out their the meats like a couple days before they go old in Whole Foods, and just grab that shit and put it in your freezer.
Thanks for the tip there, Kenny. I'll do that.
Hey, and that's for all you out in internet land too. It's called be on the freegan diet.
What movie are we critiquing or talking about this week?
We are talking about the 1985 Pushkar Pictures release, Miami Supercops, starring Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill, directed by Bruno Carbucci.
And before we get into this, is there any movie that you watched over the past, Christ, it's almost been a month since we last did this, that you feel like talking about?
Yeah, I've seen a few things. Well, a couple things aren't really worth talking about, but I'll mention them. I saw the new Transformers movie,
Mhm.
Rise of the Beasts. It was what it was, and I saw Creed 3.
Oh, what'd you think of Creed 3?
Yeah, like I'm not really that big a fan of the Creed movies. I think they take themselves way too seriously. I know you saw it too. What'd you think?
I was pretty let down. I just thought it was just a run of the mill Rocky movie. Didn't do anything special. So yeah, just completely
Yeah,
forgettable.
yeah. Well, I mean, the fight scenes are improvement over the original Rocky movies, which are pretty hysterical. Seeing as like they're just no one blocks or ducks. It's just one fucking haymaker to the face, like over and over again, which would knock anybody out. But so they're a little more well choreographed. But I thought like the kind of charm of them is like this kind of cornball cheesy thing is more emotion. These ones just are so serious and like kind of dour. Like it's just I
Well,
don't
I
know. I
guess
just don't find it very fun at all.
my problem with the last Creed, and the second one was okay, it was better than this one, but like it's not hard to build up to that music, that score in the final match, and
Yeah.
Gets off the, or sorry, Creed gets off the mat,
Mhm.
or when Rocky did it, and that music's blaring, and
Yeah.
it's hard to just go, yeah, and it's none
They
of
don't
that's
even
there, none
they
of
don't
that's
even use
there.
the Rocky
I
theme.
know.
Get a fly now in it. Yeah.
They're just like, you have this gift, use it. It's like, no, I want to
Yeah.
do something else, but that's not why we're here. We're making a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
But whatever. I saw
But,
John McFord. Oh, sorry, you have some more to say on that?
well, the one I want to talk about a little bit was Flamin' Hot. Did you see Flamin' Hot?
We did.
Yeah. What you think?
That was very entertaining. I thought Ava Longoria's directing was good. I know the script was hot. It was on the blacklist for a lot of years. So it was probably a really tight.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining. The lead's great. Really strong Disney movie. I knock it a
Is
little
it
bit
Disney?
because yeah, it's on Disney Channel and everything. Yeah, or the
It's
Disney
on
Plus.
Hulu, but okay, it could be. Yeah.
I
I think
watched it
Hulu
on Disney.
Disney now.
I'm
Okay.
not
Yeah.
telling
Sure.
any,
Yeah.
I'm not telling any stories out of school, my friend.
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
don't got Hulu.
Did you, by chance, read the very lengthy LA Times article about that
Yeah,
whole thing?
exactly. That's where I knocked it like half a star for my letterbox review. Because I researched it. It's all fucking complete bullshit by this fucking con artist
Well,
executive.
I've read a lot about it, and I think it's. I mean, yes. Did he invent Flamin' Hot Cheetos? No, because Flamin' Hot Cheetos were on the market in Chicago 5 years before he claims he invented it in his kitchen.
Mhm.
His story, though, what I think happened was he was a janitor and he moved up and became like this
All
ad
that's
executive.
real. All of that is real.
Yeah,
We went
yeah,
from a
yeah.
janitor all the way to ad exec. Amazing.
Which is a very inspirational story and stuff. So he started doing these speeches, but it didn't maybe quite go, over. So I think he just kind of, shoehorned in this whole I invented Flamin' Hot Cheetos to really kind of because now because he started making like thousands of dollars on like the motivational speaker circuit.
Yeah.
So I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's he himself is actually a pretty impressive story. It's just the
Without
whole
the
thing,
embellishment.
which the whole thing's about, is bullshit.
Or selling a big best-selling novel on his bullshit. What really
Yeah.
bothered me after I did the research, after watching the movie, the scene that really bothered me is like he hits the streets and gets all his Bato gangsters to like go and buy all the flaming hots and hand them out the street. Real ground level, marketing scheme. It's just complete fucking utter
fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I read this review from this Hispanic critic on RogerEbert.com, and she didn't like it really at all. She was like, the Latino community deserves guys who aren't full of shit to be propped up and stuff. But still, even with all that, I still thought I am a sucker for those kind of movies like Air or some shit. And there is a kind of a whole new subgenre of these things are like the birth of these products that we all know, like Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Air Jordans. There's a movie about BlackBerry out, and Tetris and stuff like that. It's like this whole new like run of these.
What were we talking about before we started? This is late stage capitalism. Now our movies are commercials that we pay money to see.
Yeah, well, or it could just be people are more interested in their stuff versus like history or something of like, what about Gettysburg? Oh, fuck Gettysburg. Where did my fucking, Sega Game Gear thingy come from? Or whatever,
Yeah, I noticed there haven't been a lot of historical features or dramas even in the action adventure thing in a long time. Like they just
Right,
don't
yeah.
anymore, you
People
know?
don't care anymore. They
Yeah.
want to know where my fucking iPod came from.
Shit. Whatever. What are you gonna do?
What do you do?
I
Just keep
saw.
watching.
Keep
Give them
watching.
money.
I saw John Wick Chapter 4. Did you see that yet?
No, I kind of was John Wicked out by number 3. Like, yeah, what'd you think?
It's a lot more John Wick. It's really long.
Yeah.
I almost stopped it a lot, but it does get better in the second half. It's like almost a 3-hour fucking movie. It's kind of
Whoa.
like, I'm like kind of like pissed at you. Like, what are you even doing? You know,
Uh-huh.
it just got exhausting. Like he'd get a blah, blah, whatever, and then a new wave of guys would come in. I'm just like, just move on, go to the next thing. We have 3 hours.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just one. That's what I thought about the last one, the number 3. I thought it was just one more guys come out. He shoots him in the head. It just gets so repetitive and numbing. It's just like, okay, there's the tension is gone. That was just so, after a while.
This is the same problem. There's no tension. He's immortal. It's pointless.
Right.
And then every now and then he'll stop. He'll actually get a gunpoint for a story beat or whatever. It's like, why are you stopping now? Why don't you just spin around and kill everybody? Like, why all of a sudden is this too hard for you?
Yeah.
You're immortal. Anyway, so yeah, same problems. You're not going to like it, but you'll end up watching. There are really cool. There's 2 or 3 really fucking cool sequences, that are arguably worth the price of admission.
We're just checking it out on like the streaming channel someday
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But what is with though? Like, I think I upped my star on Transformers, the new one, even though I didn't like it that much, just because it's like 2 hours long, and I was like, wow, it's over at 2 hours. Thank God. Like, because some of those Transformers, like the Bay ones, like number 4 was like 3 hours long or some shit. So I don't know why all these movies have to be like 2.5, 3 hours long now.
I'm sure Hollywood's done the studies and stuff. People who go to the theater want that longer experience. They're not stupid because they also want fast turnaround time so they can sell more tickets. So they would prefer an hour movie.
Yeah.
But I guess people don't go to them as much as they go to these 3-hour epics that, you have to go see. I mean, it's kind of like every movie's fucking 3 hours long. That's why I started watching a lot more older movies. Like, ooh, an hour and a half? That's like nothing.
Yeah, like High Noon is like 80 minutes long. I was like, this is perfect.
We'll be done by the time the popcorn's ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
Which is great because I'm getting a lot older movies under my belt that I haven't watched before. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, it's 10. Oh, I can watch an hour and a half movie. Great. Perfect. Yeah.
I noticed like the Leonard Maltin book when I grew up, like he is obsessed with length. Like everything is like, they even had this like list online, like too long for Len. It's like fucking every movie ever made. He mentions how long it is and like too long. But I get that now as I get older. I don't know, maybe it's like your patience is over. We've seen so many movies. We're not like, we don't want to sit through a 3-hour Batman movie for no reason or something. I don't know.
I read screenplays for Blacklist and like, I hate when I see a script that's over like 115 pages. I'm like,
yeah.
And it's always like, I get it if it's like a sword and sandal epic, but it's always fucking road comedy. I'm like, why is this over 90 pages long? We get it, get in, get out. Like, no one wants to sit here for fucking 120 pages.
Right.
There's so much hate in me.
Speaking of, did you watch Miami Supercops?
I did watch Miami Supercops.
What'd you think?
Well, first, you want to give the plot of it?
Oh, yeah, easy. Okay, these 2 FBI agents, one who's teaching helicopter lessons, anyway, are assigned or go undercover as cops in Miami to find a man who was involved in a heist years ago.
8 years ago.
8 years ago, who recently killed one of the other guys that was involved in that heist. And is that right? I don't know.
Because he hid the money or something like that?
He took the money, hid the money, and the other guys are dead, and he might be out. Yeah, I don't know. I had trouble following this movie.
I'm glad you were as lost as I was, because I didn't know if it was because I couldn't pay attention to it because it was so fucking boring and stupid. Because it was hard to hear half the time. I didn't even know what the fuck they were saying.
Did you watch the same YouTube rip?
I rented it from Amazon.
Oh, you rented it?
Wow. Yeah, it was only $1, so I was like, I'll just rent it.
Okay.
For quality.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you couldn't hear what they were saying because it wasn't like the audio was so shitty because it's a shitty low budget Italian movie. Mm-hmm. I know the actor, but Spencer, I've seen him before.
Bud
He's a
Spencer.
big guy. I've seen him before about on YouTube channels covering shitty movies and shit. 'Cause I know he's a big Western star, and I like him. He's the best part of the movie, Bud Spencer. I think
Terrence
he's a
Hill.
good actor. What's that?
Terrence Hill, you're talking about?
Yeah, Terrence Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, he was in a bunch of like spaghetti western. I saw My Name Is Nobody. I think you recommended it.
Oh yeah.
And he was in like Django sequels and some other stuff. But I recognize him from spaghetti westerns. I never seen a Bud, one of his movies he did with Bud Spencer. They did 18 movies together apparently.
I wonder how much money they made. I know
Well,
we're getting track here, but like.
Well, I'll get into them a little bit later, but but yeah, like the movie itself, I felt like a lot of times I was watching like a 80s like porno movie where like the sex scenes have been edited out.
Mhm.
Like it was that low budget. I think this whole movie had the same like budget as like one episode of Miami Vice from back in the day, or maybe less, because it did seem very, very low.
Well, it came out in 85, right? I can't
Right.
believe that because it looks like it came out in like the late 60s or mid 70s. It is
Or
that
very like 80 or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like it. I think it was made to capitalize on the success of Miami Vice, even though they had played Miami Cops before in this movie called Crime Busters from 1977, and then Terrence Hill was this movie called Super Fuzz, where he played a Miami cop. So maybe they had a deal go with Miami, but like the opening titles really, I think, are trying to do the opening titles of Miami Vice.
Yeah, the acting also was absolutely atrocious. Atrocious, except for the two leads. And the fat guy's okay, but Bud Spencer's a good actor. I could tell he's just act,
Yeah.
But everybody else, nobody could deliver a line to save their fucking lives. I don't know
Well,
if the English speakers they could find in Italy or wherever they shot this, because it wasn't Miami. There's no shot in Miami.
I think they did shoot in Miami. Yeah.
I was afraid they did. I haven't done any research because I hated this movie too much. But they made Miami look like a shithole. Miami Vice makes Miami look like a urban wonderland. They make
really sleek, looks awesome. But no, Miami looks like crap. They did not do very good locations. It's not good to flare the place. It looks like some like they shot the outskirts of like some shitty like town in Florida, which maybe they did or something. But I think they said they shot at Miami. But I don't know. Well, that the Orange Bowl at one point, and I think they just stole those shots because when they do the reverse angle, you can tell these guys are not sitting at the Orange Bowl. I don't think.
There was tons of ADR, which is always a good sign that you're watching a movie. I think there was ADR in the first scene. I'm like, here we go.
Well, it's all dubbed though. How can you tell? It's all ADR because everything's done. It's an Italian movie.
Well, why are they all speaking English then?
Well, it's weird though because it's like I've been watching a lot of like some Indian movies lately, and they all of a sudden will speak in English. So like this, like the Korean movies that we watch, like also they'll speak in English for a couple of lines, and maybe it's because it takes place in Miami. Mm-hmm. So like sometimes they are speaking English, but a lot of times they're not. So, but the whole thing, like Italian movies, like same with the spaghetti westerns, like you can tell Clint Eastwood's speaking English in those, but everyone else is not. So, but it's all ADR'd later.
I wrote this note. I hate this movie, and I'm barely paying attention. The action sucked. It was just and lame shootouts. But
you didn't like the jumping out of a fucking laundry basket with boxes and punching a guy out or anything?
No, the climax was okay. The Three Stooges climax where they're doing all these crazy antics in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Completely silly. I wish the whole movie was like that. But it kind of like found its footing action wise in the last like 10 minutes.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't good action, but at least it was something and it had a voice,
I wasn't sure I was watching an Italian buddy action comedy until the bad guys started getting covered in spaghetti sauce for no fucking reason. I was like, oh, that's got the Italian mark on it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you have to say about this movie? Because I don't have a lot to say other than it was boring, incomprehensible, horrible acting. There were some commendable comedic set pieces, or situations where he tells him the chief died and he goes to talk to the widow or the wife, and it turns out she's talking about her dead dog and he thinks he's talking about it's fine though. You get it like 2 seconds into it and you're just going through the motions.
Well, a lot of these kind of forward movies, it's most just random moments I find amusing. Like there's this moment where he's just looking at this picture of Bud Spencer, Terrence Hill is on the wall, and he's just like, my buddy, I love you, or something. Just a weird random moment like that makes me laugh. When they go for jokes, though, I find it like, wow, that's really bad. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I guess I liked it more than something like Partners or something, or even some of the new movies we watched, like Man from Toronto, but only a little bit because it is really like it's hard to sit through. I was never into it. Never clicked with me. Like some of those old kung fu movies or spaghetti westerns. After about half an hour, it'll start kicking in. By the climax, I'm there. I was never really there. I was never really. Oh, now I'm in. I was like, is this over yet?
Yeah, it was a very, very long hour and a half. I couldn't believe every time I paused it, I couldn't believe it had only moved like 5 to 10 minutes. I was like,
Which thing that score? I kept
this was a depressing one for me. I wasn't a fan.
Okay.
Makes me question everything.
Are you still depressed? I hope.
I struggle to find anything. So which one? Wait, the fat guy is Bud Spencer?
Yeah.
Okay, because the other one's a good actor. Bud Spencer's not a good actor.
Terrence Hill. Well, like I said, it's hard to tell with the dub. I was watching, I was reading the reviews. So there's not a lot of information about this movie online. Like the Wikipedia page is like a couple, sentences. There's not much trivia on IMDb. So I read through a lot of like the user reviews, and these two guys have a lot of fans internationally. They were like the buddy action comedy team of like the 70s and 80s in Italy, doing 18 movies together and stuff. Obviously, they were like a success. But like the reviews were like, don't watch the German version. It's shit. Don't watch this version. Like the translation's awful. So maybe with the dubbing, like there was something lost there or something, who knows? But yeah, I did watch. I don't know if you watched that like video I sent you about that guy, this American guy who did like a breakdown of like kind of their team ups and like their filmography. Did you watch that by chance?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. That's why when I started, I was like, these guys, because I'd watched that. Is that the Hats Off guy? Anyway,
it might be. I'm not sure. Yeah. But anyway, like, yeah, I mean, they were big. Like both those guys, like, well, Bud Spencer, the bigger guy, he led a really interesting life. Like he was a professional water polo player. Then he became a lawyer. Then but it was an actor. And after he was an actor, he became a commercial helicopter and airline pilot, which he teaches like helicopter flying in this, movie. Yeah. Then he ran for office in 2005 in Italy, some like big office. He didn't win, but he died about like 7 years ago. But there's like a big statue of him in Hungary because these movies were huge in Hungary. And there's a whole museum devoted to him in Berlin. Like it's not his name's on the museum. It's a museum like devoted to him.
Well, different strokes for different countries, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. But like, yeah, it's a pretty, so these guys were like big stars internationally, although like America didn't know anything about them really.
And for good reason, because this shit came out in 1985. Like, if you go down the list of the shit that's been out in the U.S. in 1985 or before then, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? No American audience is going to take to this.
It's hard to believe this came out the same year as Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, you wanted to see a double feature?
Mm-hmm.
This is purely for the American film buffs, and they would only watch it for educational purposes because it's not for any entertainment value.
Well, also to be fair, like the Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill fans that I like was reading about that, all the good reviews were like just by them. So these guys, but they're all saying like, oh, this is probably their worst movie. It was basically their last theatrical release movie. They made one other movie in the 90s that was like a direct-to-TV movie. So all the reviews were saying like this is their worst movie. So they might just have been going through the motions at that point. I don't know.
And why did we start on this one?
Because I thought it'd be fun. Well, to be fair though, I did go back and take a look at Crime Busters, which is also on YouTube, also set in Miami, also their cops, and it did not look much, even though it's rated higher, like it's got like a 7.1 on IMDb or something. Like it didn't look much better than Miami Supercops.
So how would you rate Miami Supercops?
I'd probably be generous, probably like a 2. That's because I liked Italian cinema and I wanted to like it. I guess I wanted to like it because I liked the video I saw about the two guys and stuff. But it is so boring and it never takes off and it's just kind of falls flat. There's a couple of chuckles, some fun moment, the warehouse fight. But it's like, but you've seen a jillion warehouse shootouts that are better than it. So I don't know. Yeah. How about you?
I'll be generous and give it a 2 out of 5 as well.
Yeah.
Just because they have no budget, like
Right.
like shit on it when they're Italians making a Miami cop movie. It's not for Americans.
Right. Well, yeah. I wrote down that it was like getting a chicken sandwich off the dollar menu at a fast food restaurant. Like, I ate it. Was it good? It's a dollar chicken sandwich off the fast food. Like what? Well, it's okay, I guess.
At least you'd have some nutrients somewhere in there.
I guess so. You're getting nutrients from this movie.
The worst ADR in the whole movie was the black kid who steals the purse. And
oh yeah.
And he's like barely even moving his lips. And they already him. Whoa! That's racist, Italy.
Yeah, but they sent him on his way. I was hoping they were gonna start beating him or something. I was like, okay, good.
But the ADR was so funny in that, like the most stock racist interpretation.
Yeah, and to be fair though, a lot of these like transfers too, like the 70s, 80s, off these like old kung fu spaghetti western and stuff. A lot of them are piss poor, and when I'd see like new versions of them,
they're outsourced to the cheapest people who will do it. So
the one also. No, that was very niche back then. Anyone that was like into foreign films like this anyway, like not like Akira Kurosawa's Ran or something. It's like they're not gonna. There's such a low audience for that in the 70s and 80s with American audiences. I don't think they even they didn't care, so they would just
exactly. So they're not going to spend much money on it. So
right,
some small firm or house to do it, and they're not going to spend much time on it because they're not getting paid that much.
Right.
Yeah, I wish we had more to say or to talk about, but this is just too atrocious.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Miami Supercops. Megan, I showed her a bunch of trailers, and Megan picked it out because of all the ones, because the trailer does look a lot more fun than the actual movie is.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, I was like, so do you have any thoughts on Miami Supercops? And she's like, what was that one about? Did I see that one? I was like, yeah. It's like, yeah, that's basically like, I think the review. It's like, was that something that happened? I don't know.
Yeah, just watch the trailer. Don't watch the movie.
Yeah.
You've been keeping your ear to the ground on current politics?
Kind of, yeah. As to what? Who are you voting for in 2024?
You have no choice in a two-party system like this. You vote party lines, I don't think a Republican's going to come out anytime soon anyway and go, hey, we need to change this party and we need to do this and that.
Yeah.
They're just out lunacing to each other. So it's just too hard to fucking pretend, one's okay with Nazis and one's not. Who are you going to vote for? It's like.
I was listening to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. today a little bit. Yeah. He's kind of, I don't know, he seems so like old and senile. He's not that old. But it is how he talks, but he does make some good points and that. So I guess I was listening to that this morning.
You mean the Kennedy guy who's running as a Democrat?
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Yes, what I just said. Yeah,
he has some good points. Like, what are some of your points of his that you like? I'm just curious.
Well, he's very pro-abortion. He's pro-school shooting. He's pro-bullying. I mean, these are all things I can get aboard on.
Yeah. I like a good conspiracy theory.
Is he conspiracy theory?
Oh yeah, he's all crazy about the COVID and the vaccines and all that stuff. Yeah.
No, really?
Yeah.
Well, COVID's over. I don't give a shit about that anymore.
Yeah, COVID's over. Get over it, guys. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, get over it, man. They tried to get us. They failed. We're all good. Let's party.
Have you ever been to Italy?
Don't you think in the 20 years I've known you, I would mention if I've been to Italy?
Oh, so that's a no?
Yeah. Have you ever been to Italy?
Yeah, I've been to fucking Italy.
Really? When were you in Italy?
I went to Italy in 1992 during a little exchange my parents were having.
Really?
Oh, you haven't heard this story?
No, yeah.